I do have some clients who told me that they perform better at lifting weights after they do their cardio first. And I have some clients who just feel so drained even if they do a very light cardio before weights. What's up YouTube, it's Jay from L214, and today we're going to talk about one of the most frequent questions that I get asked from clients, which is, hey coach, do I do weights first or do I do cardio first? And does doing cardio first weaken my weight training intensity? We'll take a look at what science says and my recommendation as a personal trainer. Let's get started. So cardio or weights first. In physiology term, the word for this topic is called concurrent training or the interference effect. For years, it has been believed and reported that performing weight training sessions alone compared to pairing with cardio training before can weaken the muscle and energy level. And this very subject is still debatable and undergoing further research among many physiologists and coaches around the world to find the optimal training program and exercise prescription. The word interference effect was developed by Dr. Hickson in 1980 when a study participants resulted in overall weakened muscle state when given a training program that mixed endurance and weight training together. And is basically a phenomenon that which describes how much does the cardio type exercise interferes one's ability to exert muscular strength, achieve hypertrophic potentials, and neuromuscular power. Let's first take a quick look at what scientific studies say about concurrent training on muscle growth. In a 2021 study from Scientific Reports stated that there was no intensity-dependent regulation of AMPK, nor differential activation of anabolism with the manipulation of endurance exercise intensity, basically meaning concurrent training did not affect the hypertrophic elements in cellular level. And in another meta-analysis from Sports Medicine Journal also stated that although explosive strength gains may be attenuated, concurrent training does not compromise muscle hypertrophy and maximal strength development. Now, we must take it into consideration that most of these studies are done on already resistance trained or endurance sports athletes like cyclists. So the intensity or the method used in these concurrent training studies may not be relatable for bodybuilders whose main concern is to trigger hypertrophy, and for the regular population whose goals are mainly to lose body fat and put on some muscles. So the question is, what about for bodybuilding? In bodybuilding, it has been long believed that doing your cardio first will weaken your energy and muscles, which will hinder your weight training performance. And on an advanced topic, it was also believed that for bodybuilders or people who are training for hypertrophy, doing your cardio sessions right after your weight training may interfere with your recovery. A legend pro bodybuilder who has redefined training intensity, volume, and recovery through his high-intensity training, 6 times Mr. Olympia, Dorian Yates has also said that doing cardio away from weight training has given him better results based on his years of feedbacks. And this was proven true in some level based on a study from Strength and Conditioning Research in 2016, stated that fitness coaches are recommended to prescribe strength training and endurance training sessions with 6 hours of rest in between them for optimal strength, power gains, and peak VO2 responses. So what's the bottom line here? Is it okay to do cardio first? Or what about cardio right after weight training session? The short answer is, as long as you're doing a mild cardio session, PRE of between 5 to 7, it shouldn't interfere with your energy all too much. Rather, do it before you lift weights, and should interfere with your recovery if you're doing it right after you've hit the weights. The long answer is, and this is also how I usually tell my clients, is that it all depends on your current situation. First, I always tell clients to do about 20 minutes of mild cardio before lifting weights if they are or nearing at being hypotensive. Meaning, and this is common among especially ladies, if your hands or feet are cold most of the time, and or if you feel dizzy when you suddenly stand up, then I would prefer that you do a mild cardio before you weight train, just to get your heart rate and your core temperature up to an optimal state and everything loosened up, rather than hitting the irons when everything is just cold. Plus, I also tell people to foam roll before lifting weights, and you can stretch and foam roll a lot better when your body is warmed up. And if a client has been actually diagnosed with hypotension or had any other cardiovascular related diseases or surgeries, then I would have them wear either a heart rate indicator or Apple Watch so I can closely monitor their heart rate. But other than that, a simple mild cardio session before lifting weights wouldn't be bad. As for the intensity, what defines a mild cardio, such as how fast and how high of an incline to do cardio, depends on individuals' conditioning state. I'd say 5 to 6 kilometers per hour. That's about 3 to 3.5 miles per hour at 3 to 5 degrees of incline for 20 minutes is just enough to get your heart rate going. Now, as for doing cardio after lifting weights, if I were preparing a client for a show or a photo shoot, then first I would prescribe cardio sessions 6 hours apart from the actual weight training session, either before or after. As long as it's 6 hours apart, it doesn't matter. But I understand that not everyone has the free time to follow this procedure, so this is just best of the best scenario. And I understand that a lot of people can't make it to the gym twice a day. So as long as you're keeping up with nutrition and other recovery protocols like sleep, stretch, hot tub, sauna, etc., doing cardio right after weight training shouldn't really bother your progress all too much. And of course, if you're serious about bodybuilding and have the time to either able to hit the gym twice a day or have a cardio equipment at home, then keeping them separate would be the best choice. Now, one type of cardio that I would recommend not to do before lifting weights is the high intensity intervals. For those who don't know, this is where you sprint as fast as you can and walk, and repeating this interval cycle for 5 times or more. Interval does take a toll on your energy, metabolism, and your central nervous system. So HIIT is something that I would not recommend you do before hitting the weights, and also not recommend that you do right after a leg day. I prefer that you do HIIT on your non-training day or when you train relatively smaller body parts that's not quite taxing on your systems like delts and arms. And not just HIIT, but Stairmasters could be one of the difficult cardio types, as well as mid to advanced level of spin class. But if your cardiovascular conditioning is great, then go ahead, but always pay close attention to how you feel the next day. And if you feel more tired than usual, then probably dial it back a little bit. Well, that's it for today. I hope this cleared up on your question about whether to do cardio first or not. But remember, it all depends on your personal feedback. I do have some clients who told me that they perform better at lifting weights after they do their cardio first. I even have a client who jogs about an hour before lifting weights. And I have some clients who just feel so drained even if they do a very light cardio before weights. So it all depends. It also depends on the climate as well. Like right now it's freezing in Korea. So for now, I tell everyone to get to the gym at least 20 minutes early before our session so that they can properly warm up through a mild cardio. But this may not necessarily stick during the summertime. So the bottom line is doing a mild cardio before lifting weights could potentially be beneficial because of elevated heart rate, body temperature, and flexibility, as long as you keep your pre-workout cardio session at a mild intensity. And although doing cardio away from weight training would be better, but as long as you keep your diet and recovery in check, doing it right after you work out shouldn't hurt. And try to do any type of high intensity cardio on a separate day or on your non-training day. Well, that's it for today, guys. Please subscribe and hit the like button if you found this video helpful. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.